Hello everyone, how are you today? This is Dr. Education Fitness and Nutrition, and today we are going to talk about professional bodybuilding. Yes, if you want to do professional bodybuilding, compete in bodybuilding competitions, then yes, you need to concentrate on testosterone. Yes, I know professional bodybuilding is about steroids, people use steroids, but anabolic steroids are also synthetically manufactured form of testosterone. So if you don't know about testosterone, then you're not going to build a professional body. So it's very important for you to understand the mechanism of testosterone, where it acts, how it acts. So today we are going to talk about the basic of testosterone. So testosterone is basically your primary male sexual hormone. It is manufactured by the Leydig cells of your testis in various amounts throughout a person's lifespan, and the effect of this hormone become most evident during the time of puberty, when there is increased output of testosterone. That will cause dramatic physiological changes in the male body, and this includes the onset of secondary male characters. You will have a deep voice, body hair, facial hair, increased oil output in the sebaceous glands, so there are so many acnes. Then development of sexual function is there, maturation of sperms are there will be increased libido, right? And indeed the male reproductive system will not function properly if testosterone levels are not increased to that particular significant level. And this is why testosterone, the male sexual hormone, these effects are called masculizing, is androgenic effect, right? This is the androgenic property of this hormone, remember. Now the other property is the anabolic property. Increased production of testosterone will also cause growth promotion of your body's muscles, protein synthesis, that is anabolism, anabolic property. And that's why the steroid hormones made from synthetically like testosterone are called androgenic anabolic steroids, right? So there is enhanced protein synthesis which leads to muscle accumulation. Testosterone is the reason why males carry more muscle than women, and because women have very less amount of testosterone in there, that's why. And the adult male specifically in their body will manufacture anywhere between 2.5 to 11 milligrams of testosterone per day, while females will just produce about 1/4 of mg, right? Less than 0.25 mg. See, the dominant sex hormone for women is estrogen. Estrogen, this has a significant effect on the body as well, right? Because a low androgen and high estrogen level will cause a woman to store more body fat, accumulate less muscle tissue, and have a shorter stature, and become more apt to more apt to future bone weaknesses like osteoporosis because of low testosterone, low androgen. So that's why in females there is more problems of bones in the future. See, the actual mechanism of testosterone needs to be understood if you really want to build a good body. See, and it is little complex. What happens when free in the bloodstream, the testosterone molecule is available to interact with various cells of the body, and it not just affects your skeletal muscle, it acts on your skin, your scalp, kidney, bone, central nervous system, your prostate tissue, and in all these centers testosterone will go and bind to the cellular target in order to exact that effect. And these effects will affect only those body cell that possesses a proper hormone receptor site, androgenic receptor. So testosterone will bind with androgen receptor, right? This is like a lock and key system. which binds to each other, and testosterone molecule will come bound and will with this basic androgenic receptor is intracellular. It's located inside the cytosol, inside the cell. It's not outside the cell, not on the membrane, right? So what happens, this testosterone with the receptor forms a receptor complex. This is a receptor plus hormone complex which will go inside the nucleus of the cell, which is the where actual DNA is there, where everything happens, where it controls the whole cell, and this complex will actually activate the transcription of specific genes, right, which in case of skeletal muscle is actually causing an increase in the protein synthesis of all the actin, myosin, the muscle growth, pigments as protein, contractile proteins, the growth increases there, and that's how testosterone increases your muscle growth rate, muscle production, right? And actual carbohydrate storage in the muscle tissue will also increase due to testosterone androgenic action. And once this message is completed, this complex, hormone receptor complex, will be released, and receptor and hormone will dissociate, and both of them will be free to migrate back into the cytosol for its further activity. And testosterone molecule is also free to diffuse back into circulation and then interact with another cell again and again. This is actually the whole cycle which you need to understand, right? And this whole process of hormone binding, receptor hormone migration, gene transcription, then subsequent return to the cytosol, and then going back into the process again, takes hours, not minutes, right? It takes hours to complete for one molecule. And for example, even if you take an injectable testosterone like nandrolone, right, it basically takes 4 to 6 hours before any free androgenic receptors migrate into the cytosol and cause after activation. So it takes 4 to 6 hours. It is also suggested that this cycle includes some splitting and formation of new androgenic receptors once this return into the cytosol is like. That is why there is a possibility. This explains that the androgens are forming their own receptors later on, right? So this is one key thing. Then in the muscle, after testosterone also affects other organs like the kidney. And the same process occurs there. Androgens receptor, the testosterone binds to the androgen receptor, goes in the cytosol, and here it increases not the muscle production, because kidney does not have muscle. It actually increases erythropoiesis. Yes, blood cell production. Yes, it actually increases erythropoiesis through the kidneys. Yes, kidney produces erythropoietin, and that's why it leads to increased red blood cell concentration. Possibly that's why red blood cells basically carry oxygen all over the body, so oxygen transport capacity will increase, and this is what is seen during anabolic androgenic steroid therapy. And many athletes who actually assume that sometimes some kind of steroids will actually increase their red blood cells oxygen carrying capacity, but no, all the androgenic steroids will have this effect, and it basically all of them will stimulate erythropoiesis, and this is again because of androgenic receptor activation in the kidneys, right? And actually some of the effect is because of conversion of testosterone to DHT, dihydrotestosterone, which is basically one of the derivatives, and which is rapidly broken down upon, but this effect is not there in kidneys, because in the kidney there is a hormone 3-alpha hydroxysteroid dehydrogenase, which actually degrades this DHT, but in other tissues DHT plays a very, very important role. We'll be talking about DHT later on. So testosterone also leads to fat loss. Yes, it is true, because in adipose fat tissues there are androgen receptors also, and here the hormone supports lipolytic capacity of the cell, fat mobilization. Fat mobilization capacity is increased, and if this may be accomplished by an androgen tied regulation of beta adrenergic receptor concentration, or maybe because what you can simply understand, general cellular activity, right? This general cellular activity is increased. It's also note that the level of androgen in the body basically correlates to the level of stored body fat inversely. So if you have more androgens, your body's fat storage will go down, and this happens, right? And as the level of androgens decrease, testosterone decrease, the level of fat will increase. Body fat is again very important thing if you want to build a body, right? So the ratio of androgen to estrogen, right? Androgen, testosterone and estrogen is the most important factor here. Estrogen plays a counter role by acting to increase the storage of body fat on many sides, right? And that's why if you wish to lose fat during a steroid use, estrogen levels should be kept low, and this is very important. This is especially important, evident because there are some non-aromatizing steroids. Non-aromatizing means testosterone getting converted to estrogen is the aromatization reaction, and there are some steroids which don't get converted to this, and those steroids are actually favored by bodybuilders looking to increase the look of definition, the muscularity, lean muscle, while the aromatizing compounds are the bulking compound, the bulking phase compound, which people tend to use and increase their body size. So we'll be discussing about estrogen and aromatization later. And testosterone also have this kind of androgenic activity on various other tissues, right? Skin, sebaceous glands, right? And this activity is because of conversion to DHT also, dihydrotestosterone. And when it is acting on sebaceous gland, then what happens? There is increased secretion of oils in the skin, and this results in the acne, which is a very common side effect of steroid use, because a lot of oil production can lead to clogging of pores, right? If you have seen my acne videos, you know. The production of body and facial hair is also linked to the same receptor activation on the skin and scalp tissues, but that's how actually during puberty you increase your your hair production, your other things, acne, etc., because of higher testosterone. And once if you are actually on testosterone steroid use, then over a period of time there is a problem where your genetics predisposition and steroid androgen activity can also initiate your male pattern baldness. Yes, that is a huge problem with various bodybuilders, that they actually eventually lose their hair if they have that genetic predisposition, right? If that is there in their family. But many people actually have a misconception that this is because of DHT alone. But no, it is not because of DHT alone. There is basically because of the androgen receptor activation, because of testosterone, and partially because of DHT also, right? Here, that this is how testosterone hormone functions on various kind of cells. In the next video we will see that there is not just this action. Testosterone also has some indirect action on creatine, on your cortisol, glucocorticosteroid, other kind of steroid hormones, on your fat loss, on growth hormone, insulin like growth factors also. So testosterone has effect on all these things. How it affects them we will be covering in the next video. So if you really are interested in bodybuilding, professional bodybuilding, this series is very important for you, so do not miss this series. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Dr. Paramjeet. Stay connected, stay healthy.